Spinny. We're live, Dr. Art.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, look at the green.
Oh.
Say something loud. Go
on. Hallelujah. Yeah, it moves.
Yeah. Well, let's go like this.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're good.
How you doing, guys? It's only one guy in here. Greasy Garage. What's happening, man? Word bird. If you ain't first, you're last.
That's right. Yes. You're our number one Uno.
He's here, but Mexican Spec is here now. How is the sound, guys? I paid a lot of money to have good sound. How do we got sound? Hello?
Well, they didn't say no audio.
What first person that says, yeah, I can't hear you.
There's 4 people here. Should be in quadraphonic sound with 4 people.
4 people, but no likes.
No.
And I believe that's a reflection of your popularity, Dr. Art.
It is.
Okay. What's happening?
Bill's here.
Dickie Farley. Guys, how is the sound? Do we have sound? First like. Okay. Thank you, Peter Kovacs.
Yeah.
Made it on time. Okay.
Hi,
hello, fellas. Mexican Spec can hear us.
Okay. Does it usually sound like the usual garbage, or is it better?
Oh, Dickie Farley said sound is great.
Oh,
yes.
Great.
Yes. We have to thank my sound guy, Scott, some last name. He has a last name. I don't know what it is. He co-hosts a podcast called, give me a second now, Grand Theft World.
Sounds interesting.
It's a 7-hour-long podcast that they do like once a week or so.
Oh, shit.
7 hours. Could you imagine that? We do this for 2 hours, and I leave here, and I'm like, I don't want to talk. 7 hours. Jeff Hutchins says it sounds good. Nathan McCree, what's happening, brother? Jesse Dobbins. Lynn H. Yes. We got sound fluid.
Yay. It makes us happy, like small children.
Not your friend says he just found my channel, and it's great. Well, thank you, my friend.
My friend.
You are my friend. We are friends. Anthony Prentice says the sound is great. This is awesome. Oh, yes. I'd like to try to get this microphone a little bit. I hate when your microphone is like right there in your.
Just blot it out. Just ignore it. It's fine.
Joe says sounds almost as good as the Back in Black album. Oh,
nice.
Yes. So yes, it's a guy named Scott. That's all I know. Just Scott. So yes, he did a great job setting us all up. It's like the boom mic sneaking into a movie. I know, right? I just don't like that. You know, you see people like, you know, like they get this giant microphone in front of their face, and they got the headphones, and I don't like that. Not your friend is saying my first car was a slant 6, 3 in the tree, 68 Belvedere. Oh, nice. I cracked the block at 17 years old. Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, that's your accomplishment list.
Yes.
Yeah.
I put the duster on eBay.
The background duster?
The background duster is on eBay. I got to get rid of stuff. So if anybody's interested in that car, it's currently listed on eBay.
And for the 8,000 people that ask about it,
people are always asking about it.
It's for sale. And is there a buy it now price? So if they hurry, they can get it right now?
No, I just put I started the bidding at $2,500.
Oh, so it's steal.
Yeah, it's cheap. It's cheap. I just want a gun. I just want a gun. You know why? Because I realized that I have to hand wash the Charger.
Oh, because it's black.
Because I drove it through a car wash. Okay?
Mm.
And it didn't work. It didn't work. Because the car has so many nooks and crannies
that it just
the things don't get any of the dirt. So I have to actually hand wash
with all the scallops and everything, it doesn't get any of that. Yeah.
And I remember back in the day having to hand wash my cars and stuff like that. Yeah. And I realized how much I despise hand washing cars.
It's like doing the dishes.
And everything's got to go. Not everything, but a lot of things have to go because I need to just clean things up. I just need to clean things up.
You just want to buy the goat farm, don't you?
Sheep farm.
Well,
you see, this other thing too. I think I changed my mind on that too because Winnie's been doing great with the agility. She just loves the agility, and so I think that's the direction we're going. You know,
agility instead of hurting.
Agility instead of hurting. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Mexican spec. Yes, the Duster is on auction. It's on auction. Jeff Hutchins, the microphone just kind of blends into the background from our perspective. Okay. Yeah, as long as it doesn't look like intrusive, you know. I don't want to look like a freaking newscaster.
Joel, Sunday night will never be the same. Sure, it will, because there'll be another background. It's just like
Yeah,
pretend
yeah.
it's virtual. Like
I'll
a green
roll another
screen.
car back there. Jason Fitch, Tony, I found my first dead Dodge to work on. 74 Challenger has been sitting for 25 years. Single family owners. Congratulations and good luck with that.
Nice. Nice, Jason. Yeah.
Mexican Spec, Tony, can we laugh at about? Of course you can laugh about it.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't take your own advice. Well, okay, so it's like this, right? I've been bad mouthing this stuff for as long as I'm doing this channel. Have I or have I?
Yeah,
not?
you
Okay.
have.
All right. But I never actually had any of it myself, right? I never had one and installed it to the directions and did everything and then drove it and to see what goes on, right? So I know that at no point did I like reverse polarity when I was trying to jump start it or anything like that. So notice nothing freaky happened. Just normal car, normal everything, normal charging system, normal. And let's see what this thing does, if it's going to last or not. I would try to be fair. You know, I had it. It was in my hand. So let's just try this thing. So I dropped it in and drove it.
And it worked and it ran good.
Worked, it started every time. Boom, right. Didn't, well, okay, let's just say it started and ran exactly the same as when the car had points. So, and the car starts like when it just warmed up. You know, you turn the key and like within half a revolution, the thing is up and running, right? So it ran, it started, ran, it did everything as good as the original point distributor did. And then all of a sudden, nothing. But we kept smelling. Okay, so on the way to the venue, Kathy was with me, we kept smelling smoke, right? But very lightly. And I'm like, is that outside or what, right? No, because it was just a tinge of smelling smoke, right? And we sat there online for about an hour to get in.
That's a front cook that's sitting there.
I don't know. No, because it was making smoke before
On the way there.
Let me go get it. Hang on.
All right. Well, let's see what's going on in the chat. Nice out sounds legit. Out of 12, okay, I believe it was 12 volts, not through a resistor. Got fully loaded mid-70s car starter to use as your next background. It would be a touch of sophistication to your streams. Well, we'll think about that, Josh. Hello, Joe K. Hey, Uncle Tony, any updates on the propane project? It's right in the other room.
Okay.
Yeah, let's see this thing where it got smoked.
And and this wire goes into it.
Yeah, it just internally just fried.
And what am I showing you? And that wire, that's the wire that goes out of it. Nope, there you go. So this wire was, I snipped this wire because I needed some length for my for the points that I put back in there. But yeah, this wire was melted out of it, and you can see the burn marks on it. So this thing just out of the blue decided I've had enough and smoked itself. And there you go. And there you go.
Somebody was asking if you had it direct 12 volts or through the resistor.
No, direct 12 volts because it says
12 volts.
Right. Now the resistor was in there, but I had a jumper wire between them. So it negated whatever effect the resistor would have. That's besides the point. Why wouldn't it do it? You know, if let's say within, 10 miles, 20 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles. I drove the car around quite a bit last year before we parked it. Never had any problem. So why would it take for so long? And why would it just be driving along at 30 miles an hour and then and she's dead?
Ralph had a good question up there. What's the difference between a car 440 and a truck 440?
Nothing. Generally, the oil pan, the truck oil pans have a front sump, and the car oil pans. Wait, no, wait. Let me rephrase that. You have three different sumps. There's the pickup sump. There's a pickup oil pan which has a rear sump. There's the van and motorhome that has a front sump. For larger vans, and then there's the car that has a mid sump, and that's the only difference between those engines. Now, if you're talking about okay. I'm sorry. All right. Some 440 truck engines, industrial and marine engines, have different cylinder heads. And they have, easy to identify, like just at a glance, they use a peanut plug. Like instead of the 13/16 plug, normally it's a 5/8 plug. And they go in at angles. So you can identify those and have a whole different water pump set up on the front of the engine. So, but that's not all of them. That's not all of them. That's the
Because you got 440 Super Commandos and Interceptors and
all
kinds of
sorts
versions.
yeah. And the motorhomes come in both versions. I've seen motorhomes that have just the regular,
440 low compression 440.
Yeah. Let's see. I should drop a 440 into the moto. Why? The 360 does great in that thing. Jeff Hutchins, yeah, industrial RV 440, yes. So, I have to do this. Okay, so, where's my phone? Now, when I filmed that video yesterday, I was on the side of the road, and I just wanted to just spit it out while I was there. And I neglected to mention somebody. Now, I don't know this kid's name, okay? I don't know his name. He told me his name, but I was in the middle of, problem solving. This is his car. It's a green 68 Satellite with a 6-pack hood on it. Okay, that's his car. So he actually stopped. So here's a story with this. Originally, we were going to go, Dr. Art and Kiwi and his friend, and we were all going to go up to Bowling Green. But then he didn't get the truck finished on time. Kiwi's sulking someplace. And I says, you know what? And I couldn't get a dog sitter. So I says, forget it. We're not going to Bowling Green. So I says, we're just going to go to Nashville, which is literally 8 miles from here, right? So I didn't bother packing anything. I didn't bring a breakdown box. I didn't have hard tools, nothing with me.
You could walk there from here.
I could walk there if I had to. So it was pointless to prepare for a trip, right? So when I broke down, my friend there with this green 68 Satellite, whatever his name is, the car.
Green Satellite 6-pack.
Yes. He stopped and he gave Uncle Kathy and I a ride to the shop where I could get the distributor and tools and everything. And then we got back over to Jeep back over there. But that's besides the point. He did stop. He did help us out a lot. I gave him one of the signs that was on the. I wanted to give him something. I didn't have any merch here. It's like, I had a UTG sign.
Yeah.
And I gave that to him. So, but thank you so much, my unnamed friend. I forgot. I'm sorry, but thank you for stopping. Reaffirming my faith in humanity.
Another one, Petronics. Yeah, after it sat for 3 months, it just
Where?
died right here.
Oh, Jesse Dobbins. I had a 318 and a 72 Duster installed Petronics, and it ran great. The car sat for 3 months. It would not start. Bad Petronics. I reinstalled the points, fired right up. Points is the only way to go. I agree. Now, I am going to do a video. Okay, so comment after comment after comment after comment about, put an HEI in it. HEI. I did a couple of HEI videos in the past. I'm going to do yet another HEI video because people don't understand what the whole concept, the purpose of the HEI is. They don't get it.
Put it on a Chevy. Everything else doesn't belong.
No, it has nothing to do with it. It's creating voltage you don't need.
Yeah.
HEI was developed for a specific purpose, HEI is actually an emissions-based system. Okay, it was designed for a specific purpose, and when you use it beyond its intended range, what it's supposed to be used for, it does nothing. It's completely freaking pointless. I'm not knocking HEI. I've used HEI in HEI cars. I know HEI. I was working on HEI when they were brand new, so I get the whole HEI thing. But people, they seem to think HEI is some sort of like fucking panacea, like fixes everything. Put an HEI in it, and you won't have to trim your toenails anymore. They're crazy. So we're going to do yet another video on HEI.
See, the HEI, what really makes me nuts is when people put the freaking big HEI cap on like a small block Ford and sitting right in front. I'm like, just put that thing, bend over and stick that thing, and then put a coil on it because it just looks stupid. Yeah, it's one wire. It's easy. I'm a monkey. One wire. No, they look stupid. You should all just throw them away.
Anthony Prentice is saying, Tony, would you consider using the points to trigger an HEI module? I heard it works good. Also, if you use the turbo one, you can make the timing retard on cranking. Okay, for now, turbo is completely different thing, right? Josh Homan, HEI is supposed to deliver a higher voltage spark to the engine to make starting more reliable. That's true of any electronic ignition because the start position in a points distributor goes through a non-resistor circuit. Okay, where the start or the run goes through a resistor circuit. With HEI, you're bypassing that. So there's no resistor circuit at all. But okay, so the purpose of HEI, the reason General Motors developed HEI was because to make the engines run at the lean settings, carburetor settings that they were using at the time for emissions purposes, they needed to make the gaps on the spark plugs extremely big. They were going at 40 thousandths, 50 thousandths, 60 thousandths of an inch. And in order to have that spark plug fire that lean mixture like that, it needed a lot of voltage. So they essentially doubled the voltage. The typical cranking voltage, or the typical running voltage of a points ignition or just a standard electronic ignition is between 16 and 20,000, 21, 22,000 volts or thereabouts, depending on the system. The HEI doubles that from between 36 and 40,000. But the only reason they did that was to fire these giant, huge gaps. So if you're running a normal 35 thousandths of an inch gap, let's say you got a regular carburetor or fuel injected for that matter, and you're running a standard 30, 35 thousandths of an inch gap, the HEI is creating voltage that you will not ever need or use. It doesn't do anything. All it does is create the need. It creates a hotter section of the combustion chamber. You're actually more likely to have pre-ignition with an HEI system than you are without an HEI system, only because the plug gets that much hotter. Now heat range becomes very important. So HEI is not a fix for anything unless you verify what we call the 80 thousandths gap specific on Oldsmobile. Yes, the 260 Oldsmobiles had an 80 thousandths gap.
That's why they needed that much.
That's why you needed 40,000 volts.
Yeah. Because you don't need 40,000 volts, like I said, to jump a 30 thousandths gap.
No,
all you're doing is like welding on the plug at that voltage.
Right. So yeah, that's my answer to the whole HEI thing. Abel D. Dr. Art, how was your power tour? Did you have any breakdowns?
No, I did not have any breakdowns. I was driving in automotive and air conditioning comfort because Big Richard did not make it. So went to the National Speed, which is 20 minutes from my house. And it was warm, and I had a buddy out there who was a Busted Radio Garage. If any of you know him, he was like the first guy at the gate. And for some reason,
I've been seeing his videos all over the place.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He's got that 4-door.
Yeah, he's driving the Volare Valiant Brown. Yeah. So I was texting back and forth with him, and he's like, "Well, I'm in line, and they won't let me in the gate for another like 3 hours because he got there at like 9 o'clock, like a normal power tour day, like it used to be. I mean, as soon as the sun comes up, you could drive in. But they had a thing, not open till noon because they were putting up signs or all the construction they were doing behind those cars that were drifting. They had equipment in the infield and they couldn't. They were like, no, it's safety, so we'll open it up at noon, which was idiotic. By that time at noon, there was 5,000 cars waiting to get in. But yeah, other than that, it was, power tour. You go there, you see cool cars. Got to see a few of the channels, my buddies that I get to see. Didn't get to see everybody. Got to see Rust Farm, that guy with the D300, the big red one, Cummins powered.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I'm talking to him, and he goes, well, I really don't blame you for not bringing Big Richard. You had like 3 weeks to rebuild the whole freaking truck. So, and then a few other people that I got to see. So no, it was a good time. It wasn't too hot. $20 for a grilled cheese sandwich and the water. And
Dude, I bought 2 hamburgers. There's no exaggeration.
But it took 2 hours to get from the gate to inside. So even if you ate before you left the house, you were hungry by the time you got out of the damn car. So.
See, Richards, Uncle Tony, you being a writer, why not write a script and make a movie? I was actually offered a job writing as a script writer for National Lampoon back in like 1986 or 1987. One of them had gotten a hold of one of my magazines and something I wrote, and they said, "Oh, we need this guy," and I turned them down on that. But I have absolutely zero desire to script write or do anything even remotely resembling that. I just want to ride my motorcycle, honestly. If I could make a movie about riding my motorcycle, it didn't have any dialogue, or plot or script or anything. Yeah, I'm all about it. But
camera this way, camera that way, and go.
At this stage of the game, that's really all I care to do.
And I got he wasn't at Power Tour, but the guy I did the tune for his 5.2 Dodge Ram for towing.
Okay.
He installed it last week, and he popped up on Monday Nights Live. And he's like, "Yeah, tell all your people it works great, except for keeping rear tires on the truck."
Hazardous this tune may be hazardous to your rear tires.
Yeah, I got another guy. He's got he's up in Wisconsin. He's got a 4x4 an '89 4x4 that he transplanted a Magnum into, and he's sending me his Magnum computer, and that's gonna be nice. He's got a little cam in it. I'm gonna add a little fuel for his cam so it idles better and turn up his timing and stuff. That thing should rip.
Let's see. Anthony Perna, Tony, I'm diagnosing a head gasket on my 75 Caddy. It overheats at idle in like 5 to 10 minutes, then boils over. I'm not getting any smoke or milkshake. This thermostat was stuck. I changed it, but no difference. Okay, yeah. First off, those Caddy motors are prone to head gasket issues. All right. So what you've got there is you have a break. It's a breach in the gasket that's big enough to let combustion gases get into the cooling system, but not big enough for the water to go the other way. Because eventually it'll break out big enough, and the water will overcome the pressure going into the cooling system. So now it's not the temperature of the cooling of the combustion gases getting into the water jacket that's causing the overheat. It's not the temperature. It's the fact that what's happening is it's filling the cooling system with pressurized air. That air finds the water pump and it won't circulate the water, and that's when it overheats.
Cavitates, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The easiest way to do it to see what it is: take the radiator cap off and smell. Right? If you take the radiator cap off and it smells like exhaust, there's your problem. Let's see. End of time. Tony, right on any Sunday 3.
Because you're looking at that.
Oh, you saw it? Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, we're backwards. So
yeah.
When I go to point, that's something. It's actually on the other side, right? Rick asked, silly question, but should a 69 mile per hour A-body console lid be able to stand open? Mine can't. The spring just pulls it down. Yeah, that's the normal thing for that. Because there's no latch on it. There's no latch on it, so the spring just holds it closed, so it's not flopping around like this as you go over bumps, and there's no latch to hold it in place. So yeah,
This pressure spring down.
yeah. Anthony Perna, if I yank the plugs, the two clean ones should be the cylinder. If I started missing those plugs and it doesn't overheat, that should prove it, right?
It could be one plug.
Yes, could be one, because you're thinking about a breach between the two cylinders, and it's not between the two cylinders, it's between one of the cylinders and a water jacket. And I'm telling you, those caddy motors, I used to work on them all the time. Those caddy motors are prone to head gas. Those caddies, those 1970s caddy motors and Oldsmobiles were the worst for head gasket issues like that.
Once they get hot.
Yeah. So I'm just telling you, just start pulling it apart because you have a head gasket problem there.
And they're not that bad to take apart.
No,
they're
not. The exhaust bolts are the worst part.
You just break them all off and have the machine shop take them out when you have the head resurfaced.
And you can change on both those caddies and the Oldsmobiles. You can change the head gasket without pulling the intake manifold off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of people don't realize that. They think they got to take the whole top of the motor apart, and you don't. You can sneak out the cylinder head and not disturb the intake manifold. The truth, does eighth mile always translate correct to quarter mile? Torque works on short track. Most of the time.
It did give you a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
Pretty close.
Most of the time. Let's see.
How about that?
What's that?
Because the was it 782 752 big block heads the same as the 906 heads?
The 452. Hardened seats is the difference. Oscar Gonzalez, has Petronics responded to the defective product? No, and they're not going to. They all of these people hope I disappear. They all hope I just go away. Just get rid of this guy. He's nothing but trouble. Summit or Jegs is going to put a hit on me. I'm telling you right now. I have no suicidal thoughts. I've never in my life have I had any sort of suicidal thoughts. Just keep that in mind.
And then for some reason, we didn't visit the Street Side Classics booth.
How did I miss that?
I don't know.
Hot Rod Bonson wants to know, big question, AFR eliminator heads or cheap eBay heads? What do you think, man?
If you can swing it, the AFR heads are always going to be better. If you just want an aluminum head and don't mind, checking everything and retorquing everything and going through everything on the cheap Chinese heads, go for it. But it's they're not even the same thing. One's a cylinder head and one's a bowl of spaghetti. So.
Let's see. Mike Joyce, can a 5.9 Magnum be switched to analog? It certainly can.
Yeah.
Yes, you could just drop a regular distributor into the thing. You could put a carburetor intake manifold on it.
And it's done.
Mm-hmm. Nick Bruni saying, definitely camera up on your bike so you got proof when they cut you off. It has crossed my mind. What's on the 2B? A dedicated eighth mile car won't, because you could run out of gear, as an example. Yes, you're right about that.
Yeah, if you have a 532 rear gear, but
and aerodynamics comes into play too. Because gear. Okay, so gearing and good weight transfer and good traction can get you astounding 60 foots without a lot of power. So you can have a car that leaves the starting line really good, works the first 60 foot, the first 330 foot really, really well, and then doesn't have the power to really motor through the 660, and that's where your mile an hour number comes in. So now a car like that will definitely be hurting or would not fit the quarter mile to eighth mile or eighth mile to quarter mile conversion table the way it's supposed to. You see what I'm saying? Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's if you're just taking a car off the street and run it to the eighth mile and you use a calculator to figure out what its quarter mile time, it's going to be close. But if you have a dedicated fat tire eighth mile, 50 index car, no, it's gonna suck after it's 661 feet because that's not what they're made for.
Let's see, Barry Curtis, someone mentioned heat sink paste to protect electronic modules from heat. I had never heard of that. If you buy any GM, or actually even the Fords, the TFI modules and the GM HEI modules, they always come with
The white goo.
a paste that it's an insulator. BS Customs has one for you.
Yeah. I've just seen that. Art. How did you tune the XJ? Did you reflash it, or is it before EEPROM? Okay. No, it's a 96 computer, so it is OBD2, so it does have the EEPROM, the electronically erasable, programmable, read-only memory, and HP tuners. And there's multiple videos on my channel now that show where the spark tables are and what major part of the tuning on that Jeep was done. So just go over to my channel, look at that, and just look for XJ or JTech in the title description, and watch away, please, and thank you.
And you just did something today.
Yes.
What did you do today?
I bought a new cable for a new rabbit hole because somebody has a Buell that has a lean surge, and then coming soon, probably one day next week.
Yes.
We'll have a Buell Harley tuning video.
Yes.
Which was real interesting because I was reading all about it. They tune the front and the rear cylinder separately, and it's very, but
I wasn't aware of that.
Oh yeah, because of the airflow over the back cylinder is different, so they tune the front and back cylinders different.
Okay.
So your lean surge may be just one cylinder running bad, and that's
Okay. Well, it just seems it needs just a little more fuel right off of idle.
And it might, because it might have a different pipe or something.
No, it's stock pipe.
Is it
stock pipe?
Yeah.
Everything is stock on it, but just the light cruise. So in other words, like just off idle, right? So you're just driving along at 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour in fourth or fifth gear, and it's just.
And the way they have it laid out, if you go into the iSpy website, step by step, they have all their tables are laid out in cruise. If you have this, it's this area, improve this.
Okay.
And we can log it. So I can throw the laptop in the saddlebag. You can drive it, and I'll have it recorded. I'll go, oh, it is the front or the rear cylinder or both, and it needs fuel here and stuff. So it should be interesting.
Interesting. I mean, I can tell just by looking at the pipes. It's lean. It's very lean. Front cylinder.
Yeah.
Extremely lean.
Yeah, because they're tuned. Yeah, different. So.
Firefly, anyone ever mess with the Speeduino fuel injection computer?
I have not. I have multiple people ask me about that. Matthew Ward, if he's in here, he asked me about that. Should be onto it. It's neat. It's its own thing. It's good for budget if you want to get into it. There's some support out there for it, but not as much as say, an HP or a Holly or anything like that. But it'll run the car, and you can adjust it. Yes.
710 cap. Thank you very much for the super chat. Which is better to prevent overheating and stop and go traffic in 105-degree heat? Low idle speed or high idle to move the water and mechanical fan faster? Yes, definitely high. Okay, so stop and go traffic. Now, as somebody who has wrestled with overheating and stop and go traffic for 50 freaking years, because it's just what we do, I pop it in neutral. Right, pop it in neutral, bring the idle up to 1500, right? So in other words, 105 degrees, it's just creeping along. You're going, like a car length every minute, right? Pop it in neutral, bring it up to around 1500 RPM, and you can actually watch the gauge come back down again. So, and the reason I'm so familiar with this is because my hot rods have always been drag racing oriented, like the Charger isn't, right? I always use the smallest, lightest radiator that I can. I don't think about street because I'm an idiot. Okay, so I don't really ever think about streetability when it comes to hot rods. So I always use a small radiator. I tend to take material off the water pump vanes, so that they cut the water a little bit quicker. So it's very often that I'll find myself in that position with the temperature starting to creep up. And that's the thing, man. Pop it in neutral, bring it up to around 1500 RPM, and you watch the gauge go right back down again.
And from building hot rods and living in the desert,
Hey.
Las Vegas, if you can and you don't mind it, tip the back of the hood up so it comes off the gasket, off the cowl. It'll make a shit lets out tons of hot air. If you live somewhere where it rains all the time or stuff like that, no. But if you're relatively drier, just take it on Sundays and you don't mind the hood off that cowl a little bit. That'll, especially if you're probably somewhere in the desert if it's 100 damn degrees. So
Zero's here.
Nice.
Greetings, Zero. E fan is best, but clutch fan is second. Okay. 72Z20 says that was weird. Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Raymond Campbell, are the truck 225 slant tower power much different than the car engine?
No.
Exactly the same engines. Hot Rod Monza says he runs a flex fan with an E fan pusher on the outside of the radiator. Okay. D-Truth, turn on heater to cool engine. That's
if it's 100 degrees outside.
It's unpleasant.
Anthony, Dr. does the tuner app use data log for data logging? Yeah, I just for the normal stuff I do every day, it's HP tuners. For the one that we're talking about for the Buells, it's Moto X something download. It's open architecture, so.
But it's going to be the same as regular Harley Davidson, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll,
Well, we need to make that clear when you.
Oh yeah, they'll know.
You don't want just Buell people.
No, because there's only 7 of them
5
left.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's a crap load of Harley people, which we'll talk about that later. Any advice? Not wiping a flat tap of cams on the first startup? Yeah, you use a lube. Don't go with a Godzilla spring, and keep that engine up to 2500 so the crank splashes oil onto the cam and keeps the cam lubes lubed. That's where the cam lubes get their lube from.
I've done at least a dozen videos on that exact topic. So just search my channel and go back, and everything he's talking about, and then some, and then some, and then some is in there, including how to inspect the parts ahead of time to check for lobe taper and crown on the lifter, which are the 2 essential elements to having proper rotation of the lifter.
Yeah, even when I was 16, I never wiped out a cam, breaking in engines. So
But back then, you never had a problem with that stuff
because they made solid look. Yeah, the metal was
good. It was good, and the machining was good.
Yeah.
When's Dead Dodge rematch? I gotta get to. I haven't talked to Jamie since he left. I think we spoke briefly. We're gonna do something with that, but I don't have anything set up just yet. So 72Z28. I was watching Back to the Future 2, and I realized that they cited Clint Eastwood wrong, as for a fistful of dollars is incorrect. It's just a fistful of dollars.
Yes.
Yes.
Stribble at MSD. My spark disappeared.
That's another one, man. That's another one.
I've made, because I also do the LS tuning with the factory ECM for the guys that want to run a carburetor on their LS. Why they want to, I don't know, but they want to. make the stock
Because
computer.
they're better.
Yeah,
But does
run the Spark and nothing else. And then, a factory ECU at the junkyard is $60, $225 for the programming and shipping it back to you. That's the MSD box is $450. The harness is another $150, and you're going to have to buy the MSD box once every 12 to 18 months. And if your factory ECM takes a crap, it's $60 at the junkyard.
Yeah. The thing about, okay, so MSD, right? MSD, multiple spark discharge. That's what MSD stands for. So the purpose of the MSD is to keep a fat idle and a fat off idle circumstance from fouling the plugs. That's the reason that you have an MSD. Over 3,500 RPM, MSD becomes one spark. So listen to me carefully. Read my lips. Read my lips. The only reason you would use an MSD is because you have a problem in your induction, in your carburetor or your fuel injection. You have a calibration problem. The MSD is a crutch. That's what it is. It's a crutch. That's all it is. Right? Other than that, it's a capacitive discharged ignition, which by itself is an okay thing to have. But remember that whole multi-spark, what it is, MSD, multi-spark ignition distributor, only works to 3,500 RPM. Above 3,500 RPM, it's the same as any other CDI ignition. So keep that in mind.
MSD is good if you need a custom timing table. If you're running a blower or a supercharger or something, and you need the back timing down under boost, okay.
Yes, but there are other systems available to do that. You don't necessarily need an MSD.
Right.
To me, the red flag is when you see a regular stock car, let's say for sale, right? You go to one of these dealerships or a consignment lot, and it's a relatively stock car. And it's got an intake, carburetor, headers, and an MSD. As soon as you see the MSD, you know that this thing is a plug fouling pig, and they stuck the MSD on there to eliminate that.
Mm-hmm. Kim's here.
Yes. What's going on, Kim? How's Buff? I haven't seen Buff in a long time.
They do a Tuesday night.
Do they?
Yeah.
A Tuesday Night Live?
Yeah, Tuesday Night Live.
Okay.
They're on for like 2 to 6 hours.
They're smart enough to not try to compete with us.
That sounds directed, but we'll move on.
No. Well, you take that the wrong way.
Okay.
Let's see. Ford used to use double spark discharge at idle with the yes, I know that. What am I looking at?
Dr. Please showed Tony Kathy's next truck previously owned by the Hearst.
Wait a minute. What's this now? What Kim is saying, Buff is getting too old to go out?
What? No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, we do as much as we can. I wish he was stronger. What the hell's wrong with Buff? Last time I saw him, he was looking great. For Buff.
Yeah, he's an old guy, but we're all old guys.
Yeah, we're all old guys. Fubar! Thank you, brother. So Fubar just hooked only to my merch, so I can like pay for motorcycle tunes.
And it's going to be expensive.
Yes. So you can buy our shirts, our hats, stickers. I don't know. We got other stuff. And of course, Dr. Art has merch. Do we have a link to Dr. Art's merch here?
No, it's just to my channel. Go to my channel, watch a video, hit the shop button, and buy something.
Yes. Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab.
Unlike this Gleason Motorsports Park, but which, ever tell you that story?
Gleason's Motorsport Park. No, where is that?
That's in Gleason, Tennessee. It used to be Tatertown.
I've never heard of it.
Okay, it's an 8th mile track in Gleason, which is on the way to. My daughter went to college in Martin, and Tatertown Raceway was defunct for like the 3.5 years that I drove back and forth to visit my daughter in college all that time, and they always had a for sale sign. So after about 2 years of seeing this for sale sign, I went to buy it.
Okay.
And I made the guy a reasonable offer for the property and the dilapidated buildings and stuff like that. And, he said no, and I said I'll put half of it right in escrow today. Just sign it. And he thought it was worth more than he did. But turns out like a year and a half later, these other guys bought it, and they had, when they were like the first days there, they were setting up. I stopped and I talked to them, about the whole thing, and because they had some backing from like Discovery Channel. One of the guys was on one of the shows, and that's how they got the money for it, basically. But I'm like, I tell you what, let's support you. Let me buy your shirt, or you guys got shirts or hats, because I want to support you, because I was going to buy that racetrack.
So where is it exactly?
It's on Highway 22. It's north of Jackson before you would get to like Kentucky, say.
Okay.
Just west of Paris.
Okay. I have an idea of the.
In that Martin, Tennessee, yeah, up in that corner.
Okay. Well, I know Jackson. I'm familiar with Jackson.
Yeah, if it's you take right before Jackson is Highway 22. You take that up, and then you'll go right through Gleason, and it's right there on the side of the road. But those guys, they were cool, so that's where the story of this shirt came from.
Kevin Brunk is saying hello. Hello, Kevin Brunk.
Kevin is he's the guy with the Dodge computer that's on the way to my house.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And he found my channel through yours. So
nice.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Dobbins, what do you guys like better, mechanical tachometers or electronic tachometers? Mechanical tachs are cool, but they're a pain in the ass, and they're really inaccurate.
and they're especially. This is why I don't like working on old Corvettes, because like the 70s they had the cable tach drive from the distributor right through the foot. What a pain in the ass that thing is.
Yeah.
And they're all broke. And everybody,
100% of them.
Everybody who's too old to fix these cars, but it has enough money to buy them, they want that fixed. And I'm like, no.
Yep.
No. If you really want me to fix it, it's like $4,000, because you have to take half the freaking car apart to do it right. So, no, just use the electronic one.
Let's see. Adolf Braunstein. Braunstein.
Love that name.
Yes, that's a pretty cool name. Uncle Tony, I haven't found a video of you covering dowel pins on a small block Chevy. They are solid and seized. How can I remove them without heating? You probably can't. I welded onto them. It's the easiest way, right? I heat the area with a torch, just heat around, just to get things like lubricated a little bit, a little heat lubrication. And then I'll put a small nut over the dowel and weld the dowel to the nut, and then just take a wrench and work it back and forth, and they pop right out. I don't really have any other methods. I know there are other methods, but that's the one that I've always used. What's that?
Just took my son to the Art Center College of Design in Pasadena. I was blown away by the $25,000 per semester price tag. Well, most tools they have, I have at the home. Screw the indentation. I'll teach you. Yeah.
No fraud. $25,000 per semester.
What I mean. So yeah, that's like $200,000 to get a degree where you could, do anything. Out in California and make $100,000 a year. Tomorrow.
Okay, Scott Christian got an interesting question. If you see my message, I daily drive my 70 Plymouth Valiant. Has a 225 slant 6. Tossed a new water pump, new thermostat, but it overheated on me. The radiator. You could possibly have a head gasket issue.
Well, slants, you're not going to have a problem burping it. So
No, not with the stock system.
No.
Not with the stock system. So with it fully warmed up, right? With it fully warmed up. Okay, before you even do that, look, if it has an original radiator in it, okay? If it has an original radiator in it, look at the core of the radiator. Do you see green spots on it? If you see green spots, the radiator is clogged wherever you see green, okay? That's the most common thing. If you don't see any green spots, start the engine, let it run, let it get hot, and then feel the front of the radiator with your hand and make sure that it's even all the way across. Because if you change the obvious parts, thermostat, water pump, or water pump very seldom makes it overheat. If you don't find anything obvious, it's probably in the radiator.
Yeah, if you're feeling it front, you got a cold spot, hot spot, cold spot, hot spot. It's just plugged.
Yeah, but generally speaking, like I says, if it's an original style radiator, wherever if there's a blockage on the radiator, you'll see green on the outside of it. The fins will, the tubes or the fins, I should say, will turn green. I don't know why that is, but it happens. Okay. Let's see. Standing foot, use 50-50 mix antifreeze, not full concentration, as it will cause overheating.
No.
Nope. Nope. KJ Kylie, Tony, pilot bushing or pilot bearing? I don't want to get too fancy and screw myself. Use the I've been using them pretty much on everything that I put a clutch in lately. Use a Magnum style roller pilot bearing. It just taps right into that hub in the back of the crankshaft. It's just so much nicer, than the bushing. That's what I would do. Raymond Cabell. My first name is actually Raymond. The way it's spelled is German.
Okay.
Ryan Bramley also had that overheat problem. Turn out it was a blockage in the head water passage. There's so many things it could be, but check the obvious stuff first. Riff Raff, fuck us. This guy is annoying.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Oh.
You should hear what my family says about me. You have no idea.
That's why
you would cry. You would cry. Let's see. Firefly says Bailey Technical School was a joke. Most are.
Yeah, community college trade program is the way to go. The UTI, Wyotech, and stuff like that are a waste of money, which they are, because if you're just out of high school and you want to become a mechanic, go to any dealer of your choice and say,
I want to sweep the floor.
Yeah. Oh, I'm here to change oil.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and then
give me the menial jobs.
Yeah, take your toolbox with the handle on top, because that's all they're going to let you do. Doesn't mean you can't do more. And then work up from there. I myself have trained dozens and dozens and dozens of used car mechanics from lube guys, and they make, $100,000 a year after, easy.
Go to any shop and just show that you're willing to do stuff
and work. And show up every day on time, and that's 90% of your path.
Show up every day on time. Pick up a broom. Okay, you think I'm joking? Okay, at this stage of human evolution, okay, knowledge and skill really don't mean anything anymore. Okay, ambition does. Willing to work does. Show up, right? Pick up a freaking broom. Okay, show that you're willing to do this stuff. And the management, the supervisors, whoever, will bend over backwards to make sure that you've got a place and that you learn. And that's the most important thing. And it's not just in shops. Anything. To find people who are willing to do this stuff, this shit. Okay, the less glorious things. Finding people who are willing to do that is so impossible these days that's where your worth is.
Right. If you're willing to do the job that nobody else wants to do,
yep,
you have job security forever. Yep. I'm proof of that. I did all the bullshit.
I'll tell you what, you talk about the 10-year plan, right? Because most of the people who are looking at this are younger, right? Mm-hmm. So they got the 10-year plan. All right. 10-year plan. You're 25 years old, okay? You walk into a shop, you've got the stack of certifications, you've got everything, okay? They hire you based on all of your certifications and blah, 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 blah. Go in there just knowing basic proper English and have a willingness to sweep the floor, okay? At the end of 10 years, you're making more than the guy that has the stack of stuff. And that is absolutely guaranteed.
And that's when I go to, because I've been to a lot of dealers in the previous life job, the biggest thing to have is people willing to show up every day on time and put the damn phone down when they get to work and just do your job. And they'll leave you alone and they'll pay you well. Everybody gets paid well now.
Rust beater derelicts. My first automotive job was stacking old tires for scrap guys to pick up and operating a broom. Yes.
Yes.
You know what? That's a freaking video.
Write it down so you don't forget.
Oh, that's why I have you.
Oh, my phone. I don't know where my
You'll
phone
remember.
is. We can write it down in Oreos, I guess, and it'll be good, but okay. And then Abel made a comment earlier about an RV to show Uncle Kathy. This was because he was on my Monday night show, and they send in their vehicles and stuff like that. He sent in, his buddy had like an early 70s Dodge RV with a 4x4 conversion that was once owned originally by William Shatner.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Nice.
And it's really cool.
Let's see. Straight Bullet worked in a tire shop. I never worked in a tire shop.
I worked at a gas station, and that was the first thing I did. And maybe plug the occasional tire for the first, before they let me touch anything.
Joe K, how would one excel in today's automotive environment without knowing computer diagnostics? It's something you're going to pick up as you go along. Again, so that willingness to work, you know what I mean? A willingness to do the unpleasant jobs and tires and so on and so forth and oil changes. Well, you will eventually pick up all of this stuff just by being in that environment. You'll learn, honestly, that's your best in is just being in the environment where these things are talked about. And you know what I'm saying? You'll pick up so much. You're having lunch with the other techs in the shop, and they're talking about the misfire that turned out to be blah, 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 and they pulled this code, and it was actually that. You would be amazed how much your subconscious mind will absorb as you sit in on conversations like that. And then once you start to research it yourself, look into it yourself, and you start putting your hands on the equipment, you'll pick it right up.
Right. And if you're worth them having you come in every day,
They'll teach you.
They'll teach you. Th'll send you to school.
They'll send you to wherever, yeah.
Or they'll make you, if you have to take, sometimes I have this problem. Sometimes you have to take your ego out of all of this and be willing to be someone's apprentice for 6 months. And you'll be way farther ahead than going, I am better than that. Shut up. No, just do the work.
Curtis Randolph is still mostly turning wrenches.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, that's the other thing too. You could specialize. You could specialize on internal engine stuff. You don't. And see, today everything's specialized. Back in the day when we were kids, it was like you did everything. You're a mechanic. You do everything. You got to weld an exhaust in, or you got to put a camshaft in, or you got to do an oil change, or you got to do a tune-up or a carburetor rebuild, whatever. You did it. You just did everything. It didn't matter what it was. And today you're in the age of, which is why we're. Not just us, not just you and me, but our generation of mechanics. It's why we're so capable, because we worked on everything. And today, everybody's got to be a specialist. Oh, I only do glass. Oh, I only do this.
Yeah.
Oh, and so.
And I only switch parts because they don't disassemble and clean and fix and replace.
We fire in the parts cannon.
Yeah. It needs an alternator. Well, if you're poor, and you could just afford brushes back in the day, you rebuilt that thing and you learned how to do it once, maybe twice. You had to do it, but you learned how to do it and it worked. Failure is your best teacher.
Kim's saying, don't become a mechanic. It sucks. Run. It's not what it used to be.
No.
Raymond Cabello, don't be afraid of work. Keep busy. Tony's correct. Keep your work area clean. Yeah, absolutely. Just organized. Just organized. You don't have to be Felix Unger. Not that anybody knows who Felix Unger is anymore. I'm 68, worked 30 years at a bus garage as a mechanic, made more money in 1 year than most of my supervisors.
Yeah.
IVF hot rods. I own one off high-end custom shop and do everything in-house. Only way to do these things is to do it. Let's see.
Yeah, go back to that one.
Brent Nixon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Successful engine swap on my 66 Fury 2-door post, 318 to 440. Everything is perfect except cooling. Has stock 22-inch radiator support and radiator. What's the best way to upgrade this cooling system? Thanks. Just stick a 26 in there.
Yeah.
Okay. First, don't condemn the radiator that you have. Just because you went from a 318 to a 440 does not necessarily mean it's going to make more heat. See what I'm saying? Yes, it's a bigger engine, but you've also got a little bit more water capacity in the larger, in the big block, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the small radiator isn't going to cool it the same way. But if it does run hotter than you want, and you just put a 26-incher in there, it'll drop right in. Actually, you should have the holes for both 22 and a 26 in that.
And just bolt the 26-inch in.
Yeah.
And
Rocco was saying, I use an aluminum radiator from Auto City Classics on eBay. Looks close to stock. Cools just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Boger, I taught my friend to replace the starter bendings. He said, sure, you just buy another starter.
No, yeah, there's actually parts you can replace.
IVF hot rods. Literally have to specialize in every aspect from customizing, fabricating, mechanic carbs. Never underestimate the power of old literature and working with old classics and very rare restorations. You said a mouthful right there, bro.
Yeah.
The old literature is awesome, and I often find myself referring back to it.
What I've thought of lately is because, rebuilding entire trucks in 3 weeks on the garage floor and stuff like that, it kind of sucks.
Yes.
I really want to find an industrial sewing machine and start doing interiors.
There's a guy, look, I went to a bike night the other night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this guy, Michaela. I can't think of his last name, right? But he bought a sport bike. It was a crashed bike, and he pieced it back together again. And he recovered the seat in houndstooth.
Mm-hmm.
He did a masterful job. It looked like something that came right, but he did it himself.
Yeah, I've done where I've wrapped vinyl and, package trays and covered seats and Mexican blankets, but I want to go like next level and do the leather and the vinyl stitching and the inserts and the panels and stuff like that.
That would be nice.
Because if you try to get that stuff done, yeah, bring two visas.
Upholstery people, man, they got sharp pencils. Rocco, $2. Thank you, Rocco.
Thank you.
Match total timing to stall speed? No. Do they have a relationship? Let's see. Total timing and stall speed.
That's such a variable.
The tighter the stall, the more critical it becomes. Right. So if you got like a tight converter, a 2,000, 2,500 RPM converter, then getting your initial in as quickly as possible, or even locking it out, maximum effect. Okay. But if you've got, let's say, a 3,500, 4,000 RPM converter, total time is going to be in by 2,500 or so. So, but there is no direct correlation that I can think of.
No, I mean, if you have an engine where you need a bigger stall, which means you got a bigger cam, you're going to bring timing in earlier anyway, right? Logically, if you set up your engine to where you need a higher stall speed, usually you're going to have a bigger cam. That's why you need the bigger stall.
Right.
You're going to want to bring the timing in earlier anyway
Yes.
to maximize the potential of that camshaft.
Yes. Yes. So emissions purposes aside, right? So just take that off the table and pretend emissions never existed. The only reason you need any advanced curve at all, right, is for easing starting. That's it. That's it. In a perfect world, right, where you never had to start the engine, well, you could just lock out the distributor. Just lock out the time, not just the distributor. You just lock out the timing at whatever the optimum maximum timing is going to be for your particular engine, and send it, because that's what's going to make the most power, be the most responsive, get you the best fuel mileage, do all of the things that you want it to do, right? Just lock out the ignition. But we have to start these things, and we have to start them hot sometimes. So that's why you need to have
A curve.
a curve. And that's the only reason for a curve.
Right.
Now, for emissions purposes, they retard the timing, and I don't understand the mechanics behind that. I just don't know if that's why they do it, because I could care less. But, go ahead.
Abel, keep an eye on Juki sewing machine with a walking foot. It will suit you just fine. Got mine for $250.
Juki with the walking foot.
Don't know what that is, but Abel knows his shit, so I'm going to go with what he said.
Sounds like a weird Indonesian hooker.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yes, Eileen's cousin. Yes.
Yeah.
Juki with the walking foot. She will give you a good time.
Let's see. Bob Bump, stump you both.
Okay. Okay.
'Twas not my balance resistor. My start circuit was backfeeding and killing my run volts. Start relay has a reserve pin yes, segregating the start and run circuits. Runs great. Okay, well, I'm sorry. Dual feed sewing machine. Double pump, double feed.
Okay.
Sewing machine.
Yeah. I'll send you a photo of my machine. Cool, thanks.
Stray bullet, you can tell Tony has never done any sewing. That's why we have women, bro. Although I did stitch myself once. Let's see. Chris Freemesser, I seem to remember Car Wizard working on a Lambo, couldn't source a certain part. Turned out the GM made the part for Lambo and was unavailable as a Chevy part. Let's see.
318 Magnum from California, where high gas prices and now high fast food prices.
Yeah.
Just don't go through the drive-through anymore. Yeah,
I saw where they just laid off like 10,000 fast food workers in California.
Yes, because talk about going to Power Tour for 60. Go to In-N-Out with your family, and it's probably with your Kathy, it's probably $60 for 2 burgers, fries, and a lemonade anymore.
I went to Whataburger. Have you eaten there? Whataburger?
Yes. Well, not the one in town, no. But I've eaten Whataburger for years in Texas, yeah.
Ice cold. I got a couple of cheeseburgers. They were literally ice cold. They put the cheese on there. The cheese wasn't even melted. It was just slices of cheese on top of. I was too distraught to even complain.
They just built 2 more Whataburgers right on the same road, one on either end. But yeah, no, if you're going to go to Whataburger, you got to go to Texas. That's the only place to eat it at.
Abel D just ate a pastrami and cheeseburger for $45.
Yeah. About 2 burgers and fries from Raleigh is $25. Yeah.
Mm. Well, I bought lunch at Power Tour yesterday. 2 burgers and fries. You know, the burgers came with the fries, and a lemonade for Kathy. It was $62. $62 for 2 burgers.
Doctor, I've been to Canada. Only briefly in a snowmobile, illegally across the border. It was fun.
IBF is saying, I hope it was the best burger you ever had. Okay, and I'm going to be fair. It wasn't a bad burger. It certainly wasn't the best burger. It wasn't a bad burger. If it was, let's say $10, I would have been, it's pretty exorbitant for a friggin' hamburger. But what the hell? I'm out, right? But no, it was just like over the top. It was crazy. Jason Fish, $62. That's cigar lighting money. Ugh.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He's got a good point. Wait until people go into the freaking McDonald's with guns blazing, looking to fill up the fucking, put all the burgers in the sack and don't ask any questions.
The Hamburglar is going to take on a whole new meaning.
Time to learn to clock your exhaust manifold. What? Cook your exhaust manifold.
3T Manifold loves the fast food convos. Well, enjoy them because that whole industry is like in the process of imploding, man.
Well, yeah, because there was watching, I don't know what I was watching, but it's like 60% of Americans now think fast food is now a luxury.
80%.
Was it 80?
80%. 80% of Americans that they surveyed, which I don't know if it's a fair cross section, but I mean, because I don't know who the survey,
right, where they were, what they were doing,
right. But 80% of the people that they surveyed consider fast food to be a luxury.
Yeah, I can't go to
You can't
lunch with me and my wife anywhere for under $60. You can't. Pick a restaurant, So we make everything at home and go get an ice cream at Baskin Robbins, which is a scoop is $8,
Yeah, or you gotta just start eating at home again.
That's what I'd rather eat at home.
72Z20, I consider fast food to be garbage. I do too. I do too. I'm very picky when I eat with fast food. Sometimes I'll grab a burger when I'm out, but never Burger King, never McDonald's, never Wendy's. It's horrible.
You're just asking for death.
Yeah. So I'll go for a next level one. Or I'll tell you where it's hard to go wrong. All right. Taco Bell, sticking with the chicken. Okay. Chicken, anything Taco Bell is usually pretty okay. Right. The beef, that's a different thing. The beef is like 60% soy filler. Right. So, and it
comes out of a tap.
Well, it's unfermented soy. And unfermented soy raises the estrogen level in males.
Right.
It's bad. Don't eat that. Don't eat that. You wonder why people who like the way they are, they're only soft, like yeah. That's because they grew up eating
Taco Bell
unfermented soy, right? They got no testosterone in them, right? So you stay away from that. But I find that like I say, like a grilled chicken, anything really at Taco Bell is probably about as healthy a fast food thing as you're gonna find. It's hard to mess up grilled chicken. It's freaking chicken. You know what I'm saying? And they grill it. There's no like crazy fillers and stuff like that.
I have a guilty pleasure with fast food, and that's a Hardee's sausage biscuit with cheese in the morning.
Okay.
On the way to work in the car. Yeah.
Hardee's makes good burgers.
Yeah, they do, and they used to make a freaking bacon Western cheeseburger, which they don't anymore, which upset me to like. I cried one night.
I get the mushroom Swiss burger.
Okay.
They're from Hardee's. It's like I've had the rest of their menu, but like I think Hardee's and it's mushroom Swiss, and it's actually pretty fucking good.
Mm-hmm.
The worst is Checkers.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I had now the guy who owns Checkers.
The one on Broad Street.
No, the company. Right?
Okay, all the Checkers.
I actually had a deal not a deal. I was offered a super stock car. This guy had I was over at Ray Barton's. This is back in the 90s, middle to late 90s. I was still doing a nitro thing. So I go over to Ray Barton's and we're hanging out and he says, go. And he had this row of garages. So he points to the garage door. He says, go open that garage door. Right. So I walk down there and I open it up. Right. And there's a black 68 Hemi Dart in there. Right. Original car.
Oh,
original car. Uncut, untouched. It's exact, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at this car. I'm like, oh my god, this is this is awesome. He says, what are you doing with this rake? He says, the guy that owns Checkers just bought this, and he wants me to turn it into a competitive car. I'm like, you can't do that to this car. He says, listen, the guy's got more money and knows what to do with it. And then he says, then Ray says, he doesn't have anybody to run the car. You want to run it for him?
Yes.
No, I was doing
because you had nitro on the brake.
I was doing a nitro thing. I was partners in a Top Fuel drag, so I had my fuel altered, and I was tuning a bunch and working with a bunch of cars all over the place. So it wasn't in the cards for me to do anything like that.
You could have a Checkers monopoly in Tennessee.
But I could have run a super stock car funded by the guy who owns Checkers. But the reason I bring up Checkers is because that is the worst. Have you had Checkers?
I don't go there.
Dude,
I can't figure out which side of the drive-thru to go through.
They on Sundays, I think it is, they have this deal. It's 10 cheeseburgers for $10. So you have to. I mean, look, it's $10.
You can throw $10 away.
Throw it away, right?
Yeah.
Let me try this. Dude, I had one. My dogs ate the rest of them.
I'm gonna say $10 is cheap for feed your dogs. How many dogs you got?
It was horrible. It was horrible. What's on there? Yes, it was an LO23 Dart. Roast Beans and Daryl, the good old days, White Castle and Mad Dog 2020.
Yeah.
I preferred Tango. Mad Dog 2020 was good, but Tango was really, that was the shit. Or Ripple.
Taco Bell has an alarming amount of sea people in their ground beef. Okay.
What? Sea people. I know that's weird, man.
Hey, a 67 394 manifold vacuum or ported vacuum for the distributor vacuum advance. I heard you mention Chevy's like manifold vacuum and the Chrysler like ported.
Yes. And Fords are a combination of the two. All of your General Motors vacuum advances from the 50s through the 60s and the 70s all ran off of manifold vacuum. All of the Chrysler vacuum advances all ran off of ported vacuum. And the Fords, being Ford, uses a combination of both and sometimes both at the same time. So yes, that's the vacuum advance debate.
Right. And then some of them, when they had the little kajingus off the water neck, wouldn't activate the advance until the thermostat warmed up.
Yes.
And it's like, it's like the 70s. Where it really made me mad one day when I was really young. A buddy of mine's sister had the Mustang 2 with the 302 in it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't running right. And opened up the hood and there's just vacuum lines. And I'm like, I can fix this. Carburetor, distributor, dun, start it up.
Unbelievable. When I was doing Cars Illustrated magazine, he had a super stock AA Dart, and he had a stock eliminator. It was a C or a D stock Hemi GTX, and he took me for a full run in the passenger seat of the Hemi Dart. We was in Englishtown. It was a solid bottom line second run. No seatbelts, no helmet. He wasn't wearing anything either. It wasn't intended. I got in the car. We were going to go to an area where I could shoot it, where the sun was right. It was taking pictures for the magazine. And so I got in the car, he got in the car, and we drove up the staging lanes, and he says, dude, stand this thing up for me, right? So he says, sure. So we pulled around by the water box. He did a burnout. There wasn't any water on the ground, but he did a burnout. Pretend staged the car, and then let it rip, and stood straight up. Neither of us were wearing helmets, seatbelts, nothing. I got a death grip on it. I will never forget how hard I held on to that roll bar. And I'm looking at him, and he's just like big fucking smile. And he ran it right through the traps. Josh Homan, nothing wrong with my local Wendy's. One of the girls there lives down the road from me. Well, I'm sure the girl who works there is fine, but the food is really substandard, bro. The stuffed potatoes weren't bad. I don't know if they still have them. The Wendy's stuffed potatoes.
Yeah, I used to like their Wendy's used to have. They probably still have it, but they had a spicy grilled chicken sandwich.
Okay.
That was really good.
You know what's really gone downhill? Chick-fil-A.
I don't go there.
Really?
No, because the reason. Here's my theory on Chick-fil-A.
I'm all ears.
The reason you go to any Chick-fil-A anywhere in the United States, and then there's 300 rednecks in line out to the street and beeping at each other, and there's 100 people deep in line.
Yes.
That pickle juice that they put on it
Yes.
has high amounts of nicotine in it, and it's an addictive sandwich, and people come back for the addiction. They don't even know what they're doing.
Interesting. Because they put the 2 pickles on there,
Yes,
but I always ask them to leave the pickles off.
but it still tastes like pickles,
It
doesn't
still
it?
tastes like pickles. Yes.
Right, that's the nicotine juice.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Well, think about it. Next time you go by, especially the one on Old Fort down here where they're.
Well, no, I never hit the one over here, but like there's one in Franklin that there's never a line. There's a few of them where there's never a line, and if I'm passing, I'm hungry, I'll grab them, but not anymore. Because it used to be you got a nice size.
Yeah, now it's tiny.
Yeah, now it's tiny.
Shrinkflation. Yeah.
I got 4 because I'm good to eat 4 of them, right? But
Mm.
now that they made them smaller, I got 5 of them. It was $30 freaking dollars. And for the rest of the day, I had this chemical taste in my mouth, which, like, Chick-fil-A used to be the most wholesome thing in the world. Like, you couldn't possibly
Right. No,
ask
yeah,
for.
that's you didn't want to smoke either, did you? Now that you think about it.
I always want to smoke.
That's my theory. I could be wrong. Allegedly, they put nicotine in the chicken to bring all the people back in droves.
318 Magnum is saying, Bull, they don't put nicotine in food. They need to pass inspection.
Hack.
Well, I don't think it's actual nicotine. It might be a chemical compound that mimics nicotine.
Yes. It's not ground tobacco juice, if that's what you're thinking. No.
Right.
It's some other addictive.
Let's see.
Because the sandwiches aren't that good. Sorry, they're not.
Stray Bullet, I've never had Chick-fil-A. If it was like 5 years ago, I only eat chicken sandwiches on Sunday. Okay. IVF Hot Rods, I guess the nicotine is better than the Coke and the Coke.
Yeah, well, depends what you're up to that day, I guess.
Dean Stevens, nicotine juice. Mexican Spec, he's saying street food here is much cheaper and fresher. No need to go fast food.
Oh, yeah, the street food in Mexico, the best. Well, I'll save that story because it's.
Why? What? Now I'm hungry.
Now you're hungry. Now you're
Now
hungry.
I'm
You want
hungry.
some tacos out of the.
End this and go get some tacos.
Yeah.
But even tacos, man, I stopped at the taco truck. I got 10 for myself, right? And I got 4 for Kathy. So 14 tacos. $36.
Yeah.
Or when Jamie was here,
Mm-hmm.
that Dodge Garage, we went to a place in Nashville. We were hungry, right? We were both like just dressed like this. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay. So we didn't want to go into too nice of a place. So we dove into what looked like to be a decent, restaurant, like a casual kind of like in and out sort of restaurant. Can't think of the name of it. And we got what in essence was 2 chicken cutlets, right? Like one here and one here. He got a chicken cutlet. I got a chicken cutlet. It's $109. But that could have been a deposit on a chicken farm.
Right. How many chickens at like Rural King or like little chicks are like $4.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just go buy a bunch and wait. They're gonna eat bugs and all this stuff.
The problem is I get attached to them. I can't do that.
You could put up your landlord wouldn't mind a chicken coop back here, would he?
No, he's cool. Actually, you know what? We could shoot back there now.
Oh, really?
He owns. He just bought a little land behind us and a land off to the side, and he put up
that
a
little
target
fence
practice. Yeah,
off to the side?
so we can go in the back and shoot now anytime we want.
Guns in the truck.
Well, I mean,
It'll be dark.
it's
but,
dark. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Fubar just put up the link to my merch again. Thank you so much, Fubar. So if you guys want hats, shirts, stickers, like I don't know, I don't even know what we have in the store. Uncle Kathy does all of that. I don't know what we have. I don't know how much it costs. I don't even know if we sell any of it. I have no idea. She does all of that. So, but Fubar put up the link to it. So thank you, Fubar.
And if you want Uncle Kathy to eat next week, buy a t-shirt.
She eats really well. She spends a lot of money. I think we sell a lot of merch. I got to be honest with you, because the Amazon is at the door like every freaking day.
No, that's my house too, and I don't sell any shirts. So. 3T Magnum. I bought a 357, and my ears were never the same. Yep.
Yeah, I used to have an AK-47. That was great. Now I have a couple of small guns. I got a couple of few 22s. I like the small little guns.
We'll bring out the 7.62 out here one night.
Well, you know, the thing is, I know I'm never going to find myself in some kind of tactical firefight.
No, you're
You know what
not.
I'm saying? That's not going to happen.
I have a lot at the house and a lot of ammo, but if I even got a quarter of the way through it, there'd be 5 black helicopters shooting missiles at the house, and I'd be dead anyway. So with, you can have all the guns and ammo you want. I mean, really, Rambo? What are you going to do?
But the thing is, for self-protection, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so you're assaulting me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I point a 50 cal at you, okay?
Yeah.
And you're going to be like, oh my God. Or I point a 22 at you. It's the same effect.
Yes.
Nobody's going to say, oh, that's a small bullet. Go ahead and shoot.
Fuck, he's got a gun. This is going to hurt.
Right. So it's, that's just how I see it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I did have an AK-47 for a while. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, you told me a story about that.
I used to open carry it. Like I used to just walk around with it. When I first moved here, Murfreesboro was a different place. When I first moved here, I bought my AK-47 and I used to just like walk around with it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody cared.
No.
It's a different place now.
Mm-hmm. All the outsiders moved here.
Yep. 11-second stock lean burn. The problem is you hit the wrong person with a 22 and they have a knife. You are done? Yeah, no, bro. It doesn't work like that. Self-preservation kicks in. See, it doesn't matter. You could be pointing a fucking BB gun at them. It doesn't make any difference. Self-preservation kicks in and they back away. Right? It's that simple. Unless they're completely deranged, then the odds of you coming across a completely deranged zombie that's bent on killing you for whatever reason,
If you're in the house at 10 o'clock at night, you're never going to meet that person.
Right. And for that, I got my shotgun, which is always loaded, always ready for.
Yeah, they're not getting past that.
Right.
Oh, we almost got a dog today.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. There were 2 Chihuahuas at the pound.
Okay.
And my wife's like, oh, we got to beat them. So, but she's like, oh, they're too small. They would have been good house dogs because if we're not there a lot, but there was like 3 German Shepherds there. And public service announcement, if anybody listening to this, they want a dog, the Murfreesboro mayor has waived adoption fees for the whole rest of the month at pause.
Nice.
Dogs are free.
Nice. Well, there you go. Anybody, I don't know how many people in near Murfreesboro are watching this, but if you are, no adoption fees.
And I'll have videos up tomorrow because I was there today filming the dogs again. And yeah, there was a black line puppy. There was like 3 German Shepherds. There was if I was, knew what the hell was going to go on with my life, I would have had 2 of them home today.
Mark Slav, I agree with self-preservation. Drove a cab a long time ago at night and got into a few fights. Amazing how that kicks in when you have somebody by the throat. Yeah, self-preservation is always, doesn't matter how, they got to be really super crazy deranged for the self-preservation instinct to be defeated.
Right.
Let's see. AR is R22, but it's a 22 on nitromethane. Okay. I'm really not a big gun guy.
Mm.
Okay, here we go. XWAR Ghost.
That guy.
Yeah, XWAR Ghost. Hey, Tony, how much power should a 3D3 or 10-1 compression, work 516 heads 30 over, and a small street cam make? Reliably, a well-tuned 3D3 is going to make 375 to 400 horsepower. A well-assembled one, right? With the right balance of parts. The factory, the stock 68, 69, 70 Roadrunner engine was rated at 335 horsepower, and that's pretty freaking accurate. And that's with the stock tune. That's with the 6 1/4 AFB that was, or AVS I should say, was on there. Small cam, just a stock engine was, and the exhaust manifolds was a 335 horse engine. So typical hot rod stuff, right? Intake manifold, definitely more substantial carburetor than just a 625 on that. Headers, yeah, 375 to 400 horsepower is definitely right there and very doable with a very mild 3D3.
And more torque than your tires can handle.
Yes, very torquey engines.
What was some guy had a 60? My brother had a 1969 Mach 1 with bullet type air lead caps that flew off when spinning. So
What was that now?
So when we did bullet, he had a 69 Mach 1
Okay.
with the bullet type air
Oh,
caps on
okay.
the tires every time he did a burnout. So we named him Bullet.
Raymond Cabot, $62. Oh, man, we were talking about that a long time ago. Yes, Power Tour yesterday. Me and Kathy, $62 for 2 burgers. They came with a small thing of fries, like a little handful of fries. Okay, and a lemonade, $62.
Yeah, we got, like I said, 2 grilled cheese and a bottle of water. It was like $20.
Grilled cheese is what I need.
It was a really good grilled cheese, actually. Big, thick Texas toast with lots of butter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to lose weight, but that's good. That's good fat. See, there's good fat.
Yeah.
That's good fat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of sugar in cheese, so it's.
What's on I remember the guys at Super Shops telling me don't go bigger than stock CFM. I mean 69 3D3. Well, yeah. Well,
that's why there's no.
That's why there's no more Super Shops.
Right. They sold all the tires that were in front, and then they didn't. Don't go bigger. Oh God, no! Why would you want a bigger carburetor on a hot motor?
Let's see. Brian Power, UTG, do you have any propane tuning? Says, no, I do not yet. We still have Dr. Artner, we were just talking about that car yesterday. Yeah. No, I have nothing yet. But soon.
It's very close.
Yes.
It's actually like 5 feet away close.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. Abel, firemen women get attacked more than you think, and not just in LA. Man, of all the people, I tell you what, I am such an anarchist. I hate all forms of authority. I mean, all of them, right? But firemen and EMTs, I hold on this extremely high pedestal. You know what I mean? Because EMTs have literally saved my life a number of times.
When you're laying in a puddle off
the
motorcycle.
They have puddles of my own blood and piss. Here come the EMTs, and it's a happy day now, right? So yes, right? And firemen, okay? Because you know what? They will run into a burning freaking house to grab your dog. They will do that. So yeah, I hold firemen and EMTs like at the ultimate like height of respect. So to think that they get attacked is just touch a fireman or an EMT, and it should be an instant death penalty. Guy Nicholson, just stick with gas station hot dogs. What could possibly go wrong? Alan Schildroth, what kind of motor would, there's a heart. I can't see, I guess I put a Holley 570 CFM carbon. Actually, that's the carburetor that Chrysler used on the 1970 383s. Yeah. Very small. Very, very small. Let's see.
Well, there's a Harley question. You want to take that?
Digital disco. Upon engagement of my brake lever on my 97 FLHT, the brake light stays on. How to fix? The switch is probably sticking. So what year is it? 97.
They still got that white micro switch in them?
Yes. That's still a micro switch. It's got to be in the switch. It's a very simple circuit. Spray some WD in there? I don't know. I don't know. Z28. I used to have a hazmat first responder certification. Hunsbar did make it.
Oh, okay.
Let's recognize that Hunsbar made it. Curtis Randolph, Tony is a super clean, rust-free 72 Duster with a swap 340 worth $25,000 now. To some people, it might be. To some people, it might be.
A Duster for $25K is a big sell, regardless of condition, I would think, right?
Say that one time?
$25K for a Duster is a pretty hard sell.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
I would think so. It would have to be a super nice, super sorted
and you'd
car.
really have to love that 72 Duster.
And you have to really, really love it.
Yeah.
And it's swapped before. It's not even like it's an original 340 car. So
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adolf Braunstein.
Yeah.
The guy with the cool name.
Yeah.
What would you say is an acceptable tolerance for small block Chevy deck? Is it 5-10,000s? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds about right. Let's see. Oliver's going to restart her computer. Okay.
Okay.
Hinsosi, blower on a 318 for street use. Why not?
Yeah. Big fun.
Yeah. Barracuda, we've got a big problem in New Zealand with ambulance officers and emergency ward doctors and nurses being assaulted and spat on. It's disgusting. It's societal decline all around us.
Yeah.
Jeff Hutchins, Walter was, imagine you live in California. Would you rather be a door gunner at McDonald's or a tail gunner on a bread truck? Oh, definitely the bread truck.
Yeah.
Definitely. Here's the thing. You're sitting duck at McDonald's. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're trapped.
Right.
Yeah, you're at a pinch point. You can't get out.
Right.
In a bread truck, even though it's a slow bread truck, it can still move. So
Right.
tactically, the bread truck is the correct answer. Yes.
I didn't even have to think that much about it. And plus, you have bread.
Yes. So you can eat and
Unlike McDonald's, where you don't really have anything edible. So, Phil McGeisker, thank you. What are your opinions on any cylinder heads? I don't have one, but I'm sure he does.
I've never had anything that I had to put an Indy cylinder head on for the big block Chryslers and stuff like that. So
yeah, I don't have any direct experience with
it. I mean, Bill, they're supposed to be, nice stuff. I've personally never used it, so I can't tell you for sure, but everything I've heard that they're, it's good stuff.
Rust Beater Deluxe, GMC style blowers on the street. Make sure you get the noisy belt drive. The belt doesn't make any noise. Well, not really. It's that's the actual sound of the rotors. That shh, the whistling. That's actually the rotors doing their thing inside the blower. John, thank you for the super chat. Raymond Cabal, Tony, is 22 pieces of Mallory metal on a stroker big block? Yes.
Yeah.
22 pieces. 22 slugs of Mallory?
That's a lot. I mean,
Well, first off, you could buy a house. Mallory metal is not cheap. So
what would you need that much weight added for?
I don't know.
Unless they really got the pin weight wrong when they were machining the crankshaft or something, or recut it. Bad.
Yeah.
Just bad.
Old Plymouth Garage. Tony, you should check out Gen 2. Oh, Old Plymouth Garage. Yesterday. We met you yesterday. You should check out Gen 2 Garage. They're about to put the new inline 6 twin turbo on a 70 who does a great family out of Ohio.
I've seen the thumbnail for that.
Yeah, I saw it too. I didn't click on it, but yeah, I saw the thumbnail for that too.
What could go wrong with
I'll check it out.
with a twin turbo hurricane motor? Yeah, in the Duster. Hey Tony, have motorhomes 1975 440. How much power could I expect to make with stock internals, a larger cam, and rework stock heads? From what I've read, they're around 8-to-1 compression.
8-to-1 is generous. They work out to around 7-to-1, right? But don't let that slow you down. Okay. You definitely want to try when you go through that motor. If you're not going to be changing pistons and stuff like that, and you got to stick with stock cylinder heads, make sure you get steel shim gaskets, because the composition, like the Felpro gaskets, will really put a hurt on the compression. Get
that thin metal.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's important when you go to build that engine. If you can find closed chamber heads, if you can find some 516 heads, and don't worry about the 1.6 exhaust valve. It doesn't mean anything. If you can find a set of 516 heads, that'll put you closer to the 9-to-1 range on that engine. What was the question originally?
How much power could I expect?
All right. Now, when you say it's a motorhome, right? Now, when you say it's a motorhome, does it have the motorhome cylinder heads, or does it have regular wedge cylinder heads? Because if they're the motorhome heads, there's no intake. I shouldn't say that. There is intakes. There are no headers that will work on that. The water pump setup, because the water pump on the motorhome engines that are motorhome specific have a water crossover built into the heads, is a whole different thing. And the way you tell us, we talked about this earlier. Regular 440 has a 13/16 plug that goes straight in, and the motorhome engine has a 5/16 plug that goes in on an angle. If they're motorhome heads, don't waste your time. Just pick up a set of 5/16s, preferably 906s will work for you, right? Or 452s, and any of the later big block heads will be just fine. How much power can you expect to get out of it? I mean, it's like that 383 question, I would say 375 horsepower is easily attained, and you could probably tip 400 with just typical hot rod stuff.
Yeah, decent heads and a set of pistons, and you're.
I don't even think you need the pistons.
Yeah. The low compression will be just fine.
The Charger, the 67 Charger, that's stock motorhome.
Okay.
Bottom end, that's got the stock the low compression pistons. That thing has and Kathy built that engine. Kathy built that engine, I guess, about a dozen years ago now. That thing lacks for nothing. It makes torque on top of torque. It moves. That's a 4,400 pound car, and it moves it down the road like it's absolutely nothing. So. Sub-Zero, what pistons does a motorhome 440 have? They're flat tops.
Yes, it says he has 3 sets of heads. We'll just look for the small chamber straight
Yeah.
plug heads, and you're fine.
Yeah.
And they match. Okay, good.
Abel D. Tony. Yes, I answered to that.
Mm-hmm.
The entrepreneur in you, what is one business Silver Tony would tell 20-year-old Tony to start? Oh, so if I can go back in time? No, you really can't, right? Because hindsight's 2020. You know history after it happened. So you say, oh, I should have gone into IT, or I should have gone into this. Because, well, those things didn't really exist when I was 20 years old. So I really can't answer that question without it being like jaded by memory or history.
I'd go back to myself. I'd be like more like what not to do than what to do. I don't have any real good what to do advice. I can tell you a couple things what not to do, save you some headache, but that's about it.
Abel, I can tell you a story. So I'm 62, which means that I'm just about dead, and I've lived a life, right? So like I can like hindsight's 2020, right? So I can honestly say that I made some mistakes, but those mistakes turned out to be good moves in the long run. I had a lot of periods where I struggled, and those periods where I struggled turned around to like great, asset. I wouldn't have done anything different. Like if I could go back to when I was 20 years old or 16 years old, 15 really is when I started, going out into the world. I wouldn't change a thing. It all worked out exactly perfect. And here I am now, and very happy. So. Let's see. Hearing the My Way song playing. Look, it's Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Jamie's done it his way.
He did.
He certainly did. Dude, we have to talk about how we're gonna. I'll call you tomorrow. We have to talk about our rematch and how we're gonna go about it. Rocco, it's not. Thank you, Rocco. It's not, and like this. You just can't repeat this enough, right? Mm-hmm. It's not that the prices have gone up. It's the value of the dollar has gone down. Absolutely 100% correct. Inflation is not the price of things going up, right?
It's the value of your money shrinking.
Right, exactly. Um, 72Z28 Rocco, exactly. You don't really make money, you just hold your value. I don't know. I'm
just because he's got a good name. Granny's Blue Waffle. Tony, when are you going to make a video showing how to put a radiator cap on a bug?
I just shot that today, actually.
Yeah.
Olive, the prices and corporate profits are going up. They charge more. They get more. It's not inflationary pressure. No, Olive, listen. Okay, so the corporate profits are they fall into the same heading as what's happening with all of the equity markets. It's called a melt up. Okay, it's a melt up. The numbers are just going to keep going higher and higher and higher, but they become meaningless after a while because the value of what they're buying goes. It's not. I know where you're coming from. It's not corporate greed. I'm totally anti-corporation. I hate corporations. Corporations are the worst thing you could imagine, right? As far from a societal standpoint, but by their nature, they have to provide value for their shareholders. So they have to have those profits. That's their duty. That's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. So you can't. I agree with you, but I disagree with you at the same time. It's not as simple as you're making it out to be. 11-second stock limit. Every time they print money, the value of your dollar goes down. They win. Use yes, yes, exactly.
Supply and demand. There's too much money in the world.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Olive, they brag to the shareholders about doing this. They have to brag to the shareholders about doing this because that's their job.
Yes, they want to keep their job and their circle of cronies. And when they see things that are going to really fall off the cliff, they all jump ship and go to the next corporation, and a whole new group of idiots come in behind them and do the same freaking thing that they learned how to mess up this last corporation that they came from. And it's a big circle. It's like if you've ever been in the car business and you don't want to work at one dealer, you just go to the next one, and then the next one, and the next one. It's the same group of idiots that make a lot of money that travel to all these different corporations together. I've seen it. I was in that world. I don't care for it.
Sociopathic job, not inflationary pressure. Olive, the world is run by sociopaths, whether you realize it or not. Okay, the world is run by sociopaths. All of the corporations, all of the governments, all of the banking institutions, they are run exclusively by sociopaths.
Yes.
You cannot climb the corporate ladder. You cannot make it in the banking or finance world unless you are a sociopath. It's part of the job description. Nobody tells you that. But you could not succeed without being a sociopath. The more of a sociopath you are, the higher up the ladder you go. It's that simple. Silver was $17.70. Randall, I was buying silver at $4.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when it dipped down to like $3.90, and I was like, all in. I bought as much as I get my hands on.
Jason Finch, he agrees, right? Yeah, it's hugely profitable for someone to run the large business
Into
the ground and part them out to their buddies. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Because they're sociopaths.
Right, and then they go work for their buddies and get paid exorbitant amounts of money to do nothing as reward. It's just like politics, which we don't want to go down that road.
Olive, who's saying anything about politics? I never once mentioned politics, Olive. I didn't even imply politics. In Sophie Turner, there's huge inflation in pepperoni dog farts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Randall Munson, good man. Roles are constitutional. Let's see. Good night, Old Plymouth Garage.
Thanks for stepping in.
KJ Colley, start a company converting EVs to internal combustion. Growth industry right there.
Mm-hmm. Because the chassis are going to be cheap.
Yep. Rich Rebuilds already did it. He LS up to Tesla.
Yeah.
I was saying institutionalized greed, of course, but how much they step on that pedal is a choice. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they speed up, they slow down. It's a balance that they keep. But the only way that they do that, the only way they've ever done that is by dumbing down the population. People do not understand what money is, the purpose of money, how money works. They don't understand any of that. And because it's all institutionalized, and kids are dumbed down from fairy tales, that their parents read them all the way through the cartoons and then into school, and it's all it's an institutionalized dumbing down and creating an ignorant population that are easily controlled, manipulated, and robbed.
Mm-hmm. And Mexican spec, you're a little light on the 20,000 Teslas that they dumped. It's more like 40 out of their total of 60, and they stopped any orders for any more electric vehicles. And that's the same with mostly for like Enterprise and Avis, all the big three. They're just turning their nose at them because nobody wants to rent them.
Well, I just saw a thing this morning, okay,
Mm-hmm.
where now it's down to 6% of the population is interested in buying an EV.
Right.
It's down from whatever it was. It's now down to 6% of the car buying public is interested in potentially buying an EV. And I think we all had a bit
Right.
do with that.
Right now, there's more people with purple hair and cooties than there are people that want to drive an EV.
Yes. Should have been taught in schools.
Mm.
Yeah, schools.
Mm.
All right. Hey, it's late.
It's late.
It's late.
It's late. We started early. It's late, but we had 225 people in and only 140 thumbs up. That's not nice.
Oh my God, that's all we got. Just 140 thumbs up.
Oh.
See, because we don't ask for them, so people are like, they don't think it's important, but it actually is important because these things get out.
That's how the whole YouTube thing works.
Yes. Okay, Mexican spec. Oh, okay. Wait. No. Oh, Fubar.
Thank you,
Fubar put
Fubar.
up the link to your channel.
My fantastic channel that everyone should watch and
Yes.
learn and love and subscribe to.
And then Fubar put up the link to my merch. Thank you so much. Uncle Kathy makes a lot of money with that. I have no idea where it goes, but let's see. Let's take another couple of quick ones and we get out of here.
Okay.
Now I'm jonesing for a grilled cheese.
Okay.
Let's see. Border Collie paintings. Oh yeah. Oh dude, since you were in the house, now she's got this whole easel set up with a table that has all these paints and stuff like that. And now she's doing Border Collie paintings. She's completely obsessed with Border Collies. My poor beagles. They're like, they don't know what's going on, man. They don't know what's going on.
Okay, here you go. Goes to Zig.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, how much would you want to expect to spend during a home street rebuild on a 383, new cam, new pistons, and stock everything else? Got one sitting next to my house, and I want to rebuild it. You can, well,
$1,500.
tops.
Well, yeah. We don't know what kind of machine work the thing is going to need either.
Well, he's doing a home one. So here's when someone says a home rebuild, I think they're going to
hone it,
ring it,
yeah,
bury it, and send it down the road with a new camshaft and maybe a new intake that they splurge on for themselves. So
yeah, I'm going to say 1,500 is probably.
1,500.
I think it's safe.
And you'll have a nice motor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New TV show. My other hamburger is an EV.
Kevin, have an 04 Silverado. Need a new transmission. Surprise. Should I rebuild the 4L60 or go with the 4L80? If you got the means to, myself, I'd put in the 4L80 because the 4L60s always split that wave plate no matter how good you rebuild them. And with the 4L80, it won't do that. You just have to switch a couple pins on the trans controller so it'll shift from first to second. And you won't even notice there's a different trans in it. My opinion.
All right. So we're coming up on the 2-hour mark now, right? Dr. Art, do you do a live?
Every Monday night, 7 o'clock Central.
Good Lord, I had no idea.
It's amazing and it's fun. Ask a few of the people here; they have a good time.
Well, there you go. Every Monday night at 7 o'clock, Dr. Art's Hot Rod Rehab. He goes live and does a much better job with this than I do. So go over there and definitely, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you give things away, don't you? Money?
Occasionally. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He gives away money.
Yeah.
So yes, go over there for sure. Oh geez. There's Kathy Bananas. Hey everybody, I heard Uncle Tony wants food. I'm jonesing for grilled cheese. But now all of the supermarkets are going to be closed because it's 9 o'clock. So
you don't have cheese at home and bread?
American cheese? Well, okay. So bread I can only eat the day that it's bought.
Okay. Well, let
It's
that
a
one
phobia.
go. Okay.
I any bread. I can only eat it
as soon as
the
you're
day
done
it's
do the bread tie one time, it's done.
done. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, then it goes on to somebody else.
It goes to the dogs.
Wherever it goes, I don't care. Okay. And cheese is another thing that's like that too. It's like I have to buy it and bring it to the house directly.
Did you buy the sliced cheese or the bricks of cheese and what?
Just American cheese. Just simple, plain American cheese.
Just American cheese, the squares.
Well, you got to be really careful when you buy the squares because some of it is a cheese food.
Right.
Right? Which has there's no cheese.
Nothing to do with cheese.
Right. Nothing
It's
to do with cheese at all.
flavored plastic, yes.
Right. So you have to be careful with that.
Any special kind of butter that you have to have on the bread?
Just a salted regular butter.
Salted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Uncle Kathy knows how to make that.
Is it like the
She's
burnt
good
corn
like
thing?
that.
There's a whole process.
It's a what?
It's like a burnt corn thing. It's a whole process.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. She knows exactly how it's got to be. She's good like that. Curtis Randolph, Dan Tony, you're a handful. Oh, you have no idea the kind of picky bastard I'm impossible. Listen to me. Uncle Kathy Bananas deserves awards, okay? Because I am totally impossible to live with. I know I'm impossible to live with. It's one of my most endearing qualities. So yes, no, she's good. She's really good. Let's see. Dead Dodge. Oh, Jamie. Mrs. Jamie's secret: the grilled cheese is mayonnaise. Oh no! Oh no, Jamie! Don't tell me that. I don't know.
But you know what? Jamie is probably the happiest dude I've ever met. So maybe we're missing something.
Jamie's extremely happy because he's got his shit together. He knows what he's doing.
I know he's a young guy.
He's a young guy on a mission.
And yeah.
Let's see. Jamie's saying, Kathy, Tony, every time he walks into a room. It's true. It's true. Deep fried grilled cheese sandwich. You know, yeah. I still need to do the chicken fried bacon.
Oh, I threatened to make that Saturday morning, and that was met with rebellion.
Really?
Yes.
Erica don't like the idea?
She didn't want me messing with the bacon.
Well, even a chicken fried?
Yes.
How could that possibly go wrong?
I don't know.
Let's see. You guys are making me
hungry.
All right. So
anyway, so what do you have going on this week, Tony?
I don't know. I ran out of content a long freaking time ago.
Somebody just gave me an idea for one. And
bluff my way through it.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. I have had so much head trauma over the years. My short-term memory is completely. And it's not even. I wish I could say it was always the drugs. Short-term memory is like no. It's head trauma. I've had much head trauma, and so I have these giant holes in my memory. But then they come back. It's weird. So who are you and what are you doing here?
Where are we? My name is Joe. Where are we?
All right. So yes, I have nothing planned per se. I'm gonna try to stay. I got a dog setter for Friday night, so I'm probably gonna take Slayhammer out and beat her up a little bit at
It's gonna be ungodly hot.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
Carmen's going as hot. Or you people are worse, my horse. All right. So our awesome mods, Zero, Fubar, Mexican Spec. Guys, thank you so much. Everybody contributed with Super Chat. Thank you. Always appreciated. Never expected, but always appreciated. And everybody who contributed with just your presence and your conversation, thank you equally. Take Bottle Rocket out.
That's in fall.
All right. Yeah. Bottle Rocket's got a challenge coming up. But we're not going to do anything with it just yet. So that's it. I think that's it.
And then all the people in the chat, this wouldn't happen without them.
No,
so
I already thanked them. Yes.
We're just here so all these people can talk to each other.
Sometimes that's what it is.
Yeah.
But then sometimes that's just your job to bring people together.
That's right.
You know,
hold hands in kumbaya and type silliness into the chat.
All right, guys. I'm gonna pull a plug on this thing now, and I gotta find a store and then get some stuff to make grilled cheese. So because I'm hungry now. All right, guys. Good night, all.